All right, looking at problem 4-57, you should have read this already and written your variables or your let statements. So I called B the number of bass and T the number of trout. Those are the things that Pat caught in the fishing competition, and we're trying to figure out the number of each of these, especially if we look down in the problem. The actual question down here says how many bass and trout, so that can tell you what variables you're really looking for. How many, so that was the number part right there. Okay, so our equations, we're going to talk about all of the numbers in the problem and focus on, they really only mean two different things. So the numbers either mean one thing or another. So let's look at this 30 pounds of fish. That's talking about the pounds of things. So I'm going to have one equation be about the pounds. Okay, so I'm going to use all the numbers that are dealing with pounds. So I know it's a total of 30 pounds of fish. So I know this equation is going to equal 30. All right, then let's look at all the other numbers that talk about pounds. Each bass weighed 3 pounds. So for each bass, it's 3 pounds. So if I have one bass, it would be 3. If I have 2 bass, I would do 3 times 2. If I have 4 bass, I would do 3 times 4. If I have 20 bass, I do 3 times 20. If I have B number of bass, I'm going to do 3 times B. So I have 3B here. So that's my pounds for just the bass, and I'm going to add it with the pounds that I got from the trout. So each trout weighed 1 pound, so I'm going to just write 1T. Okay, so that all the stuff that we just used was about pounds, so I'm going to cross those numbers out because I'm not allowed to use them again. So I can't use any of those numbers again in the second equation. Let's look at the numbers that are left over in this problem. 5 points, 1 point, 42 points. So the second equation is going to be all about the number of points that he scored. So this is a total. Again, I'm going to set my equation equal to 42. And let's see, he got 5 points in the competition for each bass. So very similar to this one, I'm going to write 5B. So 5B, 5 points for every bass. I would times it by the number of bass he got to figure out the points he got for all the bass total. The next part says he lost 1 point for each trout. So I'm going to write minus 1T. He got points taken away from his total. Okay, so there's our two equations set up. And the question down here says, is this system a good candidate for the elimination method? Why or why not? Well, if you've noticed in the other couple problems we've done with elimination method, the variables, one of the variables has pretty much the same number in front of it, or its coefficient. If I look back here, I'll pop back to this problem really quickly. When I showed you up here, 2x and it was a minus 2x. So they're very similar, but one's positive and one's negative. So if I go back to this problem, if we look at our variables, does one of our variables have the same exact number in front or coefficient, but one's plus and minus? The b's are totally different variables, but the t's, this one's positive 1, this is negative 1. So that is going to be really convenient for the elimination method. So is it a good system or candidate? Yes, because the t's are the same value, but one is positive and one is negative. And what does that do? If one's positive and one negative but they're the same value, well, when you add them together, they will be eliminated, or they will result in 0. Okay, so we're going to solve this system down here. Remember, when we're doing elimination method, we're going to stack these on top of each other. So 3b plus 1t equals 30. Doesn't matter which one goes on top either. 5b minus 1t equals 42. Remember, I write a line here and I'm going to put a plus sign because we're going to add the equations together. So again, it's a good method because when I add these, 1t plus negative 1t, that crosses out. That's worth nothing left. Okay? That's why it's a good system for elimination method. I'm going to add the rest of my like terms. 3b plus 5b is 8b. Copy down my equal sign. 30 plus 42 is going to be 72. And to solve for b, I'm going to divide by 8. So I get b equals 9. So I had 9 bass that this person caught at the competition. And I need to find the number of trout as well. Okay, I can look at either of these equations that we originally wrote. I'm going to go with this one. So 3 times the number of bass, which we caught 9, plus 1 times t equals 30. Okay, 3 times 9 is 27, plus 1t equals 30. I'm going to minus 27 from both sides, so I have 1t, or you could just write t instead of that 1 in front there is 3, so he caught 3 trout only. Okay? So this is a good system for elimination method because the coefficients are the same number, but one's a positive and negative, so that they will cancel out and result in a 0.